कृष्णाय कृष्ण भक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामनि गौरात्वेषे नमः। श्री चैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा। ये devotees, you are welcome for continuing our Bhakti Shastri nectar of instruction. We are starting today verse number 6. दृष्टै स्वभावजनितै वपुश्च दोषै न प्राकृतत्वं यभक्तजन्य तपस्ये गंगां बसाम्ना खलु बुद्बुद्धेन पंकै ब्रह्मः द्रवे त्वम् अपगच्छति नीरधर्मः दृष्टै स्वभावजन्तैव पुषश्च दोषै न प्राकृते त्वमिह भक्तजनस्य पश्ये गंगाम्बसां न खलु बुद्बुद्धेन पंकै ब्रह्मद्रव्यत्वम् अपगच्छति नीरधर्मै। So, Srila Prabhupada's translation is, being situated in his original Krishna conscious position. A pure devotee does not identify with body. So such a person who is not at bodily platform, such a devotee should not be seen from a materialistic point of view. Because body is material, he is not thinking I am body, so we should not look at him from bodily perspectives. So what is bodily perspective? Which we have to know. Now, indeed, one should overlook a devotee having A body born in low family, that is birth. A body with a bad complexion, color. A deformed body, ugly. Or a diseased or infirm body. So because this is body and he is not body, he is soul. So we should not see all these bad things in a pure devotee. This is the meaning of drishtai, subhav jantai, vapushascha doshai. Vapu means body. Vapu means body, dosh means fault. Subhav janaitai means by material nature, whatever their body is. Drishtai, our vision should not be material. The people are spiritual, we should not judge them with material vision. Then there is a analogy. There is an example given to establish this principle. According to ordinary vision, such imperfection may seem prominent in the body of a pure devotee. But despite such seeming defects, the body of the pure devotee cannot be polluted. Na prakrititum real iya in this world by living bhakta janasya, pure devotees, pashyet, one should not see. Though Prabhupada writes, according to ordinary vision, such imperfections are seen prominent in body. Babaji, Gaur Kishore Das Babaji, they are old bodies, but they were spiritual personalities. Now, the analogy or the example given is, it is exactly like the water of the Ganges, which sometimes during the rainy season are full of bubbles, foam and mud. Ganga, Ambasam means water, Ganga water. Nakhalu, Budbudai, Hen, Pankai. Budbudai means foam, bubbles. Fen is foam and Pankai is mud. Ganga water do not become polluted. Those who are advanced in spiritual understanding will bathe in Ganges without considering the condition of the water. How many of us are going and taking bath in Jamuna? 2, 3, 4 hands up. How many days a month? Every day? It's a hot season, beautiful. River is just flowing next to us. Why we are not inclined to take bath in it? Because it appears to be polluted, right? The water appears to be polluted and we don't have really that vision to see the crystal clear water of Jamuna. Because our vision is actually defective, not Jamuna. Our consciousness is polluted, not Jamuna. There are certain devotees, they every day take bath, whatever it is. And there are deities which are every day getting Jamuna water for their abhishek. Today still, the one bus which carries the water of Jamuna from here goes to Nathdwara and the Gopal deities every day bath with Jamuna water. Because we are contaminated, not with Jamuna. There was one Vaishnava, Gauriya Babaji living at Govind Kund. Another practitioner came there, sadhak, and he was going every day to get his madhukari, begging food. One day he asked, Baba, you are not going to ask from anywhere anything. What are you eating? He said, this Govind Kund is actually a milk ocean. It's the Shastri cow's milk with which Krishna was bathed by Indra. So when I feel hungry, I just go and drink a couple, a palmful of milk and it's okay. Say, how come this is a milk? This water is a green with everywhere foam. Anyway, Mahatma has his own vision. For a while he just placed that man inside is just all milk ocean. But only Mahatma can see the milk ocean. And for them it becomes milk ocean. For us it is a little green water, silvery water, don't go in. So this verse says it is not the fault in the pure devotee or pure places in Vrindavan, but it is our consciousness which is not yet pure. Is it okay? Now, in this verse, the main principle is we should be free from fault finding, and that will lead to Vaishnava Aparadha. The principle is we should be free from fault finding, and if we do, then it will lead to Vaishnava. So this verse number 6 is actually the vision and internal development of a middle Madhyam Adhikari. Before I go further, I would say the Kanishta Adhikari in a devotional service is much more higher than Karmi, Jnani and Yogi. Is it clear? A Kanishta or a third, or sometimes a third class devotee is more advanced and better than Karmis, Jnanis and Yogis. Because at least he is a devotee. My simple example is like, out of the whole country there are 500 members of parliament, right? From tens of millions, hardly say 500. So among those 500, one is chief minister. So he's like Uttam Adhikari. For example, the one who is a home minister is a Madhyam Adhikari. One, he may be a minister for sport, and he's a Kanishta Adhikari. But all are member of parliament. They are not ordinary people. They are not street people. Any one of them is eligible to be prime minister. So this Kanishta should be seen with this. It's not Kanishta is lower. Kanishta is lower in Bhakti parameter, but Kanishta is higher than all other practitioners. So if somebody tell me I am Kanishta Bhakta, I should not be not feel offended. Still I am better than all spiritual practitioners in a different disciplines. I may be in third position among the pure devotees, but I am best than many who are doing karma or jnana or yoga. So Kanishta is not low stage. Is it clear? Now our purport has only two divisions. The first two paragraphs, glories of Shuddha Bhakti. Shuddha Bhakti means pure, unalloyed devotional service. The 3 to 9 paragraph, 6 warning against Vaishnava criticism. Sixth warning against Vaishnava criticism. And at least last 2-3 Srila Prabhupada has taken from Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati's Anuvarti Tika, which is not mentioned as such in our book. But when I read, it is from the Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati's commentary. So before we go further, let us read the first glories of Bhakti, right? So Srila Prabhupada writes, Shuddha Bhakti. When you say Shuddha Bhakti, then you just think Shuddha Bhakta. Shuddha Bhakti and Shuddha Bhakta are not different. Who will perform Shuddha Bhakti? Shuddha Bhakti. So Shuddha Bhakti, the activity of the soul proper. So Shuddha Bhakti is the activity of soul. It's not activity of the body. And what it means? It means Shuddha Bhakta, a pure devotee, is at the platform of soul, not on body. In other words, engagement in transcendental loving service of the Lord is liberated condition. So one who is engaged in the transcendental loving service of God is in a liberated condition. Liberated condition means at the platform of soul. And then Srila Prabhupada quote a verse from Bhagavad Gita 14:26. Mam chaveva vivicarena bhakti yogena vayapati sadhava samsamkirtan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. So which word is for Shuddha Bhakti? Avivicharena. And which word is for the activity of the soul? Brahma Bhuyaya Kalpate. Brahma Bhuyaya Kalpate. Is at the stage of Brahma. Is beyond bodily concept. So this verse is actually the verse which is the answer to the question by Arjuna, how can one transcend three modes of material nature? And Krishna gave the method, procedure to be free from three modes of material nature, to perform pure, avivicharani, unadulterated bhakti. And then the result is you will come to the stage of soul. And the soul is Brahma. Brahma Bhuta means body. So he is though in the body but at the stage of Brahma. Though he is in the body, but he is the stage of Brahma. And to make it more clear, Shuddha Bhakti starts after liberation. Bhakti starts after mukti. Mukti means free from bodily concept, free from three modes of material nature. So Bhakti starts after mukti. And what is the proof? Brahma bhuta prasannatma na sochati na kankshati samasarveshu bhuteshu mad bhaktim labhate param. Param bhakti means the superior Shuddha Bhakti can only be practiced when one is at the stage of Brahma Bhuta. So principle is Bhakti is the activity of the soul. Bhakti is beyond three modes of material nature. Generally speaking, Bhakta, Bhakti and Bhagavan. Bhakta, Bhakti and Bhagavan are beyond three modes of material nature. They are under the jurisdiction of internal potency. They are free from the influence of external energy. They are in the jurisdiction of internal energy. Is it clear? Bhakta, Bhagavan and Bhakti. Three are beyond material energy. They are under the jurisdiction of internal energy. Is it clear? Now Srila Prabhupada writes, Avibhicharani Bhakti means unalloyed devotional service. A person engaged in devotional service must be free from material motives. And then Srila Prabhupada gives the two words. There is a material consciousness and there is a spiritual consciousness. So there are two words here. In this Krishna conscious movement, one's consciousness must be changed. If consciousness is aimed towards material enjoyment, it is material consciousness. And if it is aimed towards serving Krishna, it is Krishna consciousness. So we have two types of consciousness. Consciousness. Shuddha Bhakti is performed in liberated condition. This is called Avibhicharani Bhakti, free from material motives. Consciousness, material consciousness aimed towards material enjoyment. Krishna consciousness aimed towards serving Krishna. Is it okay? Clear? So we have finished up till this. Now Srila Prabhupada is giving further definition of Shuddha Bhakti, which already we have discussed in a previous verse also. Anya Abhilashita Sunya. I am not actually explaining this word because this is a separate topic for you in the next of devotion. Anya Abhilashita. Anya means other than serving Krishna. Anya means other than serving Krishna. Abhilashita means desire. It's not Abhilasha. Can you see this word? It's not Abhilasha. It is Abhilashita. So there is a difference between two words. Abhilasha means desire. Abhilasha means some temporary emergency situations where you may request Krishna, not for some material things, but in some very dangerous, very difficult, very awkward situation, you may call upon Krishna. That is an Abhilasha, not Abhilashita. Abhilashita means regularly going and asking Krishna, give me this, give me this, give me this. Material, that is Abhilashita. Like Draupadi calling to Krishna for protection is not Abhilashita. She is a pure devotee. Though she is calling Krishna for help, but she is a pure devotee. There's one funny example. A Western devotee had a big feast. Then he went to the Loi Bazaar for purchasing. He got a stomach upset. He was urged to use toilet. He saying, "Hey Krishna, please protect me, let me reach to the room." This is also a desire. But this is not an enjoying desire. This is not against bhakti. You understand what I am saying? There are certain emergency situations where you may, without any intention, call upon Krishna for protection. That is not against bhakti. Therefore it is abhilashita, which means repeated material desires, which is just like our nature. This is abhilasha, like all of a sudden some desire. So there's a difference between the two. Okay? Abhilasha is not the Abhilasha is not making one out of Uttam Bhakti. Abhilashita, yes. If we have Anya Abhilashita, we are not Shuddha Bhakti. If we have some Abhilasha, then we are Shuddha Bhakti. There is a difference between the two, right? It is actually the nature of desire. The nature of desire and Abhilashita is material. Nature and desire and Abhilasha is temporary, unavoidable situation. So the nature of desire. This will be more explained in Nectar of Devotion. Difference between Abhilasha and Abhilashita. So Srila Prabhupada is saying material consciousness means consciousness having three things. What are these three things? Anya Abhilashita, number one, Jnana and Karma Anavritam. If you remember, we have discussed something like that. The definition of Shuddha Bhakti is, what is the definition of Shuddha Bhakti? Anya Abhilashita Sunyam Jnana Karma Dhyanavisam Anukulyena Krishna Shilanam Bhakti. So then I told you the two words, a primary characteristic and secondary. Right? So what is the need of secondary characteristic? To differentiate from ordinary bhakti and Uttam Bhakti. So Uttam Bhakti must have three characteristics which differentiate from the ordinary bhakti. And what are these three? Anabhilashita, Shunyam. Shunya means zero. But Jnana, Karma, Adi, Anavritam. Adi means and some etc. Like yoga, like Jyotish and other things. Anavritam means not should be covered by. It means we need Jnana. We need Jnana, we need knowledge about Krishna, Bhagavad Gita. But which Jnana should not cover bhakti? Impersonal knowledge of merging in Brahma. That is not Shuddha Bhakti. Which karma? We need karma. Deity worship is a karma. It's an activity. We have to worship deity. We have to cook for the deity. That we will not give up. Only the fruitive activity should not be covering devotion. So which karma should be given up and which karma should never be given up? So Anavritam, it's not Sunya. Jnana karma is not Sunya. It is only not covered by. So one Jnana we need, one karma we need, and one we have to give up. Okay? We are going to the and all devotion, which is transcendental to the activities. Now Srila Prabhupada is using this word Jnana and Karma, an equivalent word Prabhupada is giving. The activities are beyond mind and body. Jnana is mind and Karma is body. And the Karma we do with body, Jnana we use with mind. So Prabhupada is using equivalent word for Jnana and Karma. Can you see this? I am reading the line. Jnana Karma, unalloyed devotion service which is transcendental to the activities of body and mind. How it is body? Body means Jnana. Body means Karma, right? Such as Jnana, mental speculation is mental, and Karma, fruitive activity is called. It is called pure bhakti. Bhakti yoga is proper activity of the soul again. And then one actually engage in alloyed devotional service, unconditional devotional, unalloyed, unconditional. What is the meaning of unalloyed and unconditional? Unalloyed, unconditional. Apratihata and ahituki. Ahituki is unconditional. Apratihata, unalloyed. He is already liberated. Sagunan samataitan. He is liberated from what? Three modes of material nature. Sagunan samataitan. He is completely free from three modes of material nature's influence. By the way, if I am asking you this question, where is the influence of three modes of material nature? Where they exert their influence? Say. On the subtle body, mind, intelligence and false ego. The influence of the three modes is on the subtle body, mind, intelligence and false ego. And what they produce our nature. Our nature is made by influence of three modes on our subtle body. And we carry that nature from one body to another. So basically, we will be free from this three modes when we actually dissolve the subtle body. And that is what it means one is acting at the level of soul. It means he has dissolved the subtle body. Because there is the place where the three modes exert their influence. Is it clear? Is it okay? Dissolve, ultimately liberation means we have to give up this subtle body also. Because subtle body carries from one body to other body. Dissolve means it should be immune to the influence of the three modes of material nature. And then this is a material thing, it will go back to the total material at one stage when we give up this body. We leave this body, then the subtle body goes with that. But when we give up subtle body also, then the soul is considered liberated. As long as soul has a subtle body, he is conditioned. Subtle body needs to be dissolved back into the ingredients of which it is made up of. So from where the ingredients are coming? Mahatattva. So Mahatattva, first change in Mahatattva is, well, there are two words. One is called Pradhan, one is called Mahatattva. You know this? That is the Mahatattva has 24. What is Pradhan? Before creation, when every aggregate of the material energy is called Pradhan, and when there is a need for creation, it is brought out, and then two things happen. One is a glance of the Supreme Lord, and number two, the call entered into it, time. Then the three modes of material nature which are in equilibrium, they are agitated. And then what happens? The false ego first manifests. And then false ego in goodness, in passion and ignorance give rise to certain body and senses. So ultimately it is the false ego. I think in goodness is mind, and then in passion is intelligence, and then the other things is like that exactly. In creation you see. So ultimately it is the false ego, mind and intelligence. Now Srila Prabhupada writes, Krishna's devotee is not subjected to material condition, even though his bodily features may appear materially conditioned. Now Srila Prabhupada is coming to this verse. One should therefore not see a devotee pure devotee from a materialistic point of view. This is not saying devotee. Prabhupada has superlative word, pure devotee, right? One should not see a pure devotee from materialistic point of view unless one is actually devotee. This is very important line. Unless one is actually devotee, he cannot see another devotee perfectly. How you translate this? How you translate means how you explain this.
The seventh kind of Srimad Bhagavatam. So, Prahlad, how he recognized Datta was just.
Who?
Prahlad Maharaj, how he recognized Dattatreya was just lying on the road.
Which canto?
Seventh.
Right. Dattatreya was recognized by Prahlad because Prahlad was pure devotee. A good example, very good example. Yadu Maharaj recognized Dattatreya, the 11th canto.
Ajagar Murti.
Ajgar Vritti is the. Well, there is one meaning which is example from the Bhagavatam is very good. The common people, how you convince them. If you are not doctor, how will you say this doctor is good or bad? If you know medical science, then you can say this person is right or not. So to know doctor, you have to be doctor. To know engineer, you have to be engineer. To know devotee, you have to be devotee. Very simple. Yeah, until and unless one is pure devotee, he cannot recognize pure devotee. Another example from Chaitanya Charitamrita. Mukanda and Gadadhar went to see Pundrik Vidyalaya. And he was in a silk and all the opulent, and Gadadhar was doubting whether he is pure devotee. Mukanda then sang some song and then he forgot all his opulence and is rolling on the ground. So it is very difficult to recognize the pure devotee. Huh? There is the good example when we come to the next stage. One should not see the bodily deformity of the superior devotee. There are a couple more examples we can discuss. But here the principle is, if we are not Madhyam Adhikari, we will not recognize Madhyam. We are not Uttam, we cannot recognize Uttam. If we are at that level, we can recognize. What is the message in this? The message is, you should not be judgmental about the other devotees. You should not be judgmental about other devotees. As explained in the previous verse, there are three types of devotees: Kanishta Adhikari, Madhyam Adhikari, and Uttam Adhikari. Kanishta Adhikari cannot distinguish between the devotee and non-devotee. For him, the devotee and non-devotee, you don't know. He is simply concerned with the worshipping the deity in the temple. A Madhyam Adhikari, however, can distinguish between the devotee and non-devotee, as well as between the devotee and the Lord. This is Prabhupada's very nice precautionary word. Devotee and the Lord also. Thus, he treats the Supreme Lord, Godhead, the devotee and non-devotee in different way. Uttam also don't discriminate between the pure and devotee and non-devotee. But he is a higher level. Now paragraph number 2. No one should criticize. I think, yeah. No, this is, 2 paragraphs of Bhakti are over. Now we are starting paragraph number 3. So paragraph number 3 is abominable activities of a devotee This is the paragraph number 3. No one should criticize the bodily defect of pure devotees. If there are such defects, they should be overlooked. What should be taken into account is the spiritual master's main business. Now Srila Prabhupada is coming from the pure devotee to the spiritual master. One should not take into account the spiritual master's main business. What is his main business? Which is devotional service, pure service to the Supreme Lord. Apichet Saduracharo verse is given. So now, even if a devotee sometimes seems to engage in abominable activities, he should be considered sadhu, a saintly person. Because his actual identity is that of one engaged in the loving service of the Lord. In other words, he is not to be considered an ordinary human being. The other example which you will get sometime in a nectar of devotion. Moon has a rapid mark which is not obstructing the rays of moon. Nobody can criticize moon because there's a black spot. Right? So sometimes devotees may have a black spot like moon, but they are giving a cooling shade. They are practicing devotional service, they should not be criticized. This verse, you have not reached to this verse in 9th chapter, right? Apiche, this Durachara. This verse, normal commentary is pure devotees who is engaged in the service of the Supreme Lord. This purport of this verse when you read, this is originally commentary taken from Bhakti by Srila Prabhupada. The commentary says there are conditional activities and there are constitutional activities. Hare Krishna, Jago. There are conditional activities and there are. So, conditional activities, sometimes devotee may do something wrong because he is conditioned with the body. But constitutionally he is engaged in devotional service. So activity of devotee has two levels, constitutional and conditional. Ananya bhajan to mam means he is engaged in unalloyed devotional service. Therefore, even if conditionally, because of some previous conditioning, he may do something wrong, but still he should be considered sadhu. This is a Bhakti Vinod Thakur's commentary. There is a liberal commentary on this verse. Liberal commentary is this: even a pure devotee does some mistake, he should be considered sadhu because he is engaged in devotional service. It's a liberal commentary. Why? Example is like this. I had a neat clean cloth. I started from my home. I am coming to the road. Some car passed by. It was rainy season and I got all mud on my cloth. Now somebody says, oh, you are so dirty. What I will do? I'll just go and sit under the tap and try to clean. Oh, you are dirty. Yes, I am dirty. I was not dirty when I started. I become dirty on the way because of some condition. I am still under process of cleaning. So why should you criticize? Why are you criticizing me? I am sitting under a water which is going to purify me in any way. That is what actually devotional service here this verse means. There is a one conservative commentary. How pure devotee commits mistake? Not at all possible. Never devotees can a pure devotee can never commit mistake. So this verse says, though it is not possible, if it happens, we should not consider it. It's called conservative commentary. Liberal commentary, conservative commentary, and there is a Rasik commentary. Rasik commentary is completely different. Api chetas durachara. Though Krishna is playing with the gopis, which is a durachara from a material point of view, and anybody who considers that he is a worshipper of Krishna, he is considered sadhana. You understand what I am saying? One who considers Krishna, who is doing durachara, what he is doing? He is playing with the gopis. And if you say that he is the person I am worshipping, then you are actually sadhana. This is a Rasik commentary. People don't accept Krishna. Krishna is good by giving Bhagavad Gita, but Krishna playing brass dance, no, we cannot take this. Those who take this, there's one verse Chaitanya Charitamrita says, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked, he said, who will believe me when I say that Krishna in the bushes of the Vrindavan is hunting the gopis? Who will believe me? And I am his worshipper. Who will respect me? But I am that. So somebody, Mahaprabhu was very happy to hear such verses from, I think, Raghupati Upadhyaya in Prayagraj, I think so. So, what for us here, Srila Prabhupada, it is conditional and constitutional. Here the application of the commentary is conditional and constitutionally he is engaged in bhakti, but conditionally he has some defect. Condition because he is conditioned, body is conditioned sometimes. It happens. You can never imagine that such a person can do this, and it happens. It happens to very, very exalted, highly respected great devotees. This happens sometimes.
We said that the pure devotees are already on that platform of soul. They are not at the bodily concept. So how come they are into the conditional activities?
My body is like that. I am hungry. On the way I am going, I don't have anything. I am thinking of Krishna, but my body thinks I should feed something. I see nobody sitting there. I can take one banana from a cart. It is thief. I'm stealing. I'm stealing. But what can I do? My body cannot be maintained without one. I don't have money. So they may say I'm thief, but what can I do? I'm not eating it for enjoying, but I'm eating it to keep myself fit to chant Hare Krishna. I'm saying just giving examples like that. It's conditional. What can I do? If the body is conditioned, you have to eat, you have to sleep. So that conditioning sometimes forces us to do something. This first Jagannath deity in 67 was brought by Malti Mataji by stealing from a shop. But that has become the beginning of the deity worship in ISKCON. And first Rath Yatra out of ISKCON. It was theft. So it is a conditional. She was conditioned to pay. But Prabhupada used it constitutionally.
In this way, like every soul is pure. Constitutionally, is pure.
But the main line in this verse is Ananya Bhajantum. Every soul by nature is pure, but they are not doing bhajan, therefore their mistake, they are responsible.
Constitutionally, every soul has equal love. Because of conditioning,
But they are good, but still he is engaged in devotion, that is most important. Though he is conditional, but he is engaged in devotion, therefore he is at constitutional level. But still conditional and sometimes drag him down. once Prabhupada was there and Malti Mataji has to prepare breakfast, Prabhupada, and first offer to Krishna and then serve Srila Prabhupada breakfast. There was no butter in the temple and no money also. So she went down looking what can I do. By the way, some supply vehicle came with all the things, and the man who was using he went to supply something in the store, and she just took some butter from there, not anything else, just stole some butter. She brought up, she cooked nicely something, pancake, and offered to the deities, gave to Prabhupada. That was very nice. And Prabhupada was watching from window when she was stealing. Prabhupada saw Malti, very nice, rich butter, from where you got? She was embarrassed. She said, sorry, there was no money. You were here, we have to offer to the deities. I went down and stole actually from the supply van. Prabhupada was laughing. Oh, our Krishna was also butter thief. Yeah, Krishna, Prabhupada simply wanted to actually, she was embarrassed, so Prabhupada wanted to relax her. Well, Krishna was also butter thief. So this is like, some other devotee cannot do this. She has a conditioning to do like that. But now she is doing it in the service of Krishna. Everybody cannot do. The one who is conditional can do this. You cannot dare to do this. Some people only can do this. So this is conditional. But the purpose is constitutional. Purpose is constitutional and the function is conditional. That should not be condemned. Okay, we are going to the next. Now we are going to the next paragraph number 4. And paragraph number 4 is for material consciousness, caste or hereditary. Example, Rupa and Sanatana Goswami, foreign Goswami. So this is the whole paragraph. One should not judge the body birth based on the birth, or say on a birth or caste or heredity. Heredity means birth, actually, where they took birth, and caste means which caste, they are Brahman, they are Kshatri, whatever they are. So this is Srila Prabhupada's purport on this. Even though a pure devotee may not be born in a Brahman or Goswami family. So birth. If he is engaged in the service of the Lord, he should not be neglected. This is a very important line. He should not be neglected. Prabhupada is not saying respected. He is saying they should not be neglected. In actuality, there cannot be family Goswami based on material consideration, caste or heredity. 3 things. Cannot be family Goswamis based on material consideration. Material consideration means somebody is wearing dress of the Goswami. And caste means he is like a Brahman and then become a Goswami. And heredity means coming from a family of a Goswami. Having cloth of a Goswami, having born in a Brahman family and then become Goswami, or born in a Goswami family. The Goswami title actually the monopoly, this is another line which you should remember. Goswami title is the only monopoly of pure devotees. Thus we speak of 6 Goswamis headed by Rupa and Sanatana. Shri Rupa Sanatana Goswami had practically become Mohammedans and had therefore changed their names to Dabir Khas and Sakir Malik. But Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself made them Goswamis. Therefore, the Goswami title is not hereditary. Though Rupa Sanatana Goswami, they were born in a Saraswat Brahman family. But because they work with the Muslim government, so they appear to be degraded. But it's not, they are not born Goswami family, but they are called Goswami. The word Goswami refers to one who controls his senses, who is master of the senses. The devotee is not controlled by senses, but is the control of the senses. Consequently, he should be called Swami or Goswami, even though he may not be born in Goswami family. This is Srila Prabhupada and Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati. They felt that since they were giving initiation to people, they are not born in a higher caste Brahman or something, and they're giving them sannyas and calling them Goswami. So there was an undercurrent that many people were criticizing them. And then there are caste Goswami, like Nityanand once Goswami, Advaita once Goswami. They said, we are only Goswami. Prabhupada said, no, anybody who controls senses and who is eligible can be called Goswami. Example is Rupa and Sanatan, though Mahaprabhu called them Goswami, though they were serving the Muslim government. Now, next paragraph is discriminating on material point of view, on the state of society, caste and creed. Society means from the American society or Russian society. Caste is Brahman, and creed, caste and creed is I think one word. According to this formula, the Goswamis who are descendants of Sri Nityanand Prabhu and Advaita Acharya are certainly devotees. But devotees coming from other families should not be discriminated against. Indeed, whether the devotee come from family of previous Acharya or from an ordinary previous Acharya or ordinary family, they should be treated equally. One should not think, oh, this is American Goswami, and discriminate him against him. Nor should one think, here is Nityanand once Goswami. There is an undercurrent, that's Prabhupada is saying. There is an undercurrent of protest against our awarding the title of Goswami to the American Vaishnavas of Krishna conscious movement. Sometimes people flatly tell the American devotees that their sannyas or title Goswami is not bona fide. However, according to the statement of Srila Rupa Goswami in this verse, an American Goswami and Goswami in the family of Acharya are not different. No devotees in early days went to the market in Louis Bazaar. They were nice dressed, tilak and everything. So some person told him, oh, you are so nice Vaishnava. Maybe next time you take birth in a Brahman family in Vrindavan, and then you will be a great devotee. He came back and told Prabhupada, said, Prabhupada, this person told me like this. Prabhupada told that go and tell him that if you come and join ISKCON, then next time you will become a good devotee. He said, how can they criticize the Vaishnava that they should take birth again? Prabhupada was very protective to his devotees. He was not willing to open a temple in Jagannath Puri. He said, because they are not allowing my devotees to enter in the temple, why should I open the temple? He was not interested in opening temple in Jagannath. Because then my devotees are not allowed to enter in the temple, why should I open temple? He was very protective for his devotees. So, next, paragraph number 6. Being envious of the devotee and misbehaving with them, the effect of Vaishnava Aparadh, 6 and 7. These are the 6 warning against Vaishnava criticism. We are now reached to the 5th. On the other hand, a devotee who has attained the title of Goswami. Now Prabhupada is warning his own devotees. that I made them Goswami. Now you should not become proud and puffed up. But is not born of Brahman father or a Goswami family of Nityananda Advaita should not be artificially puffed up by thinking that he has become Goswami. He should always remember that as soon as he becomes materially puffed up, he immediately falls down. Devotees were preaching in early days and they were quoting verses, their pronunciation was not perfect. And some Indians, they were laughing and they were quoting verses 10 nicely in a proper meter, but they were selling banana on the cart. The Buddhists told Prabhupada, we want to preach them, they know more verses than us and they pronounce perfectly. Prabhupada said for preaching in India you need two things, purity and humility. It's not you are chanting verses and it's culture that can impress people, because people know all these scripture. But if you are humble and you are pure by your sadhana, then only you can preach. So what Prabhupada here writing, we have to be pure, not puffed up that I am a scholar. No. So purity and humility are the two tools by which we can preach, not by our scholarship, in India at least. Now Prabhupada is saying, this Krishna conscious movement is transcendental science and there is no room for jealousy. This movement is meant for Paramahamsas. Who are completely free from jealousy. And then Srila Prabhupada is quoting verse, Paramam Nirmat Saranam. Where is this verse? Sorry? I think this verse is 112 Bhagavatam. Dharma projita kaitava nirmat saranam sata. This is the verse. And here the word Srila Prabhupada translated nirmat saranam, 100% pure. Sata means devotee, 100% pure devotees. Word to word you see there in Bhagavatam, it says 100% pure. So the devotee is one who is non-envious. One should not be jealous whether he is born in a family of Goswami or has the title of Goswami awarded to him. As soon as anyone becomes envious, he falls from the platform of Paramahamsa. Prabhupada is actually giving us a big hope that we all are Paramahamsa. The ISKCON movement is for Paramahamsa. Now if we think that this is Indian Goswami is good, this is American, Australian, this is African Goswami, then we are falling. Very difficult. Very difficult. We have so much preconditioning. My guru is best. Other guru, maybe. There is jealousy. Only my guru is best. Prabhupada says all devotees are Paramahamsas. If they are not jealous or envious. If they are not jealous or envious, all are Paramahamsas. The movement is for Paramahamsas. They should be free from enviousness and jealousy. But what can we do? We are not. Next verse, yeah.
What system is best? System for following. This is like this is good.
this is, though we are higher than other, but we should not think like that. We should behave properly as a always falling souls. All our acharyas, they said, oh, Bhakti Vinod Thai Kukar, I am just like a dog in the street, or a worm in the stool. Manavottam Das Thakur writes, what it means is, though the bhakti is the topmost, but the devotees are very humble. They don't offend other people. The other thing which I feel at least to warn and guard you, Prabhupada, because of his age, his scholarship, his being a founder, Acharya of the movement, highly respected, liberated soul, he could say somebody, you are rascal, you are fool, muda. But if I say this, or you say this, people will not take it. They will revolt. And we will close the door for them to take to Krishna. Prabhupada can say it because of his position, but we will say people will not take it.
They will think, but not all the position of Krishna. When we think like that, so
We should simply speak Krishna Katha very humbly. And even we have to quote, Prabhupada said somebody like that, but we are not able to say like that, though people are actually like that. You can say in a very different way. But if you say, people won't take it. Because generally new devotees, that even in their own home, they say, you are karmi. They tell to your father and mother and relative, you are karmi. They say like, we all have done these mistakes in our beginning. That is not proper.
we are thinking like that, it's not good for our devotional life also.
We know that what it is, but still we have not to disrespect them. If they are innocent, we should be merciful. If we are madhyam, Kanishk will fight like anything, no problem. I used to give one example. It's very olden days, and in a day of independence, Indian independence, one Sweepress, she converted to Christian. At that time, because it was a British rule, she converted, say 1 month before, and she become, say, from Meera to Mariam. And she was cleaning the street, sweeping the street. And the great freedom leaders of the country, say Gandhi and others, were coming from in a procession. And she was standing like this with a broom under her arm. Said, they want independence from us. So she is thinking she is a queen of England, because she converted very soon. So she thinks, oh, they are asking independence from us. This is our position. Prabhupada is founder Acharya. He can say, but if we say, it won't work. People won't take it seriously. We can say humbly, very differently. But you have to be really very tactful. Therefore Prabhupada said, in preaching you have to go like a needle and come like a claw. Go like a needle and come like a claw. Don't be in the beginning, Prabhupada used to say, with folded hands, I request you, something like that. Humbleness is very important. Okay, we are going to the next paragraph. And this paragraph 7, Vaishnava Aparadha. If we consider the bodily defect of Vaishnava, we should understand that we have committed an offense. At the lower speed of Vaishnava, an offense to the lower speed of Vaishnava is very serious. In this Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Mata Hathi Mata, mad elephant. A mad elephant can create disaster, especially when it enters a nicely trimmed garden of devotional creeper. One should therefore be very careful not to commit any offense against a Vaishnava. Every devotee should be ready to take instruction from a superior Vaishnava. And superior Vaishnava must be ready to help the inferior Vaishnava in all respects. One is superior or inferior according to spiritual advancement in Krishna consciousness. One is forbidden to observe the activities of pure Vaishnava from a material point of view. For the neophyte, especially considering pure devotee from a material point of view, is very injurious. One should therefore avoid observing the pure devotees externally, but should try to see the internal features and understand how he is engaged in transcendental loving service of the Lord. In this way, one can avoid seeing the pure devotee from a material point of view, and thus one can gradually become a purified devotee himself. Now, 2 more paragraphs to go. And these 2 paragraphs are criticizing an empowered Vaishnava and consider a empowered Vaishnava an object of disciplinary action or try to give advice to him. This Prabhupada is taken from Bhakti Saraswati. But I wanted to say something. Yes, at this stage, bodily deformity of Sanatana Goswami was considered the very great prayer for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He said, you are pure, you can purify the whole world. And you are embracing the oozing body of the Sanatana Goswami. We know this story. So Mahaprabhu never discriminated at the bodily level. And then also Vasudeva was a leper. And Mahaprabhu embraced him, though he was feeling. So Mahaprabhu never discriminated. Haridas Thakur was born in Mohammedan family, but he was going every day. So Mahaprabhu himself has not discriminated. So there are so many. A Brahman reading Bhagavad Gita, not knowing any language, and Mahaprabhu said, you know the real Bhagavad Gita, because his internal development was love of Krishna and following the spiritual master. These are some stories from outer vision. We should not judge the Vaishnava. They are given in this book, couple of stories. So now truth is what Prabhupada is speaking personally about him. But Prabhupada is feeling himself at that time that he is writing. Those who think that Krishna consciousness is limited to a certain section of people, means American. People are saying American movement. To a certain section of devotees, foreign devotees only, or a certain tract of the land. Oh, this is a Bengali Vaishnava. Are generally prone to see external features of a devotee. Those who have these 3 considerations, they only see external. Such a neophyte, unable to appreciate the exalted service of the advanced devotee, try to bring Mahabhagavat to their platform. We experience such difficulty in propagating Krishna conscious movement all over the world. Unfortunately, we are surrounded by neophyte God brothers who do not appreciate the extraordinary activity of spreading Krishna consciousness all over the world. They simply try to bring us to their platform, and they try to criticize us in every respect. We very much regret their naive activities and poor fund of knowledge. And Prabhupada is saying, an empowered person who is actually engaged in confidential service of the Lord should not be treated as an ordinary human being. Why? For it is said in Chaitanya Charitamrita that unless one is empowered by Krishna, one cannot spread Krishna conscious movement all over the world. कृष्ण शक्ति बिना नहीं, क्या कृष्ण शक्ति बिना नहीं? तार पर्वत. That's the verse quoted. Now the last paragraph. When one thus criticizes a pure devotee, he commits an offense, Vaishnava aparadha. That is very obstructive and dangerous for those who desire to advance in Krishna consciousness. A person cannot derive any spiritual benefit when he offends the lotus feet of Vaishnava. Everyone should therefore be very careful not to be jealous of an empowered Vaishnava or a Shuddha Vaishnava. It is also an offensive to consider an empowered Vaishnava an object of disciplinary action. Disciplinary action means they stop them from initiating. They stop them from preaching in some areas. That is disciplinary action. It is offensive to try to give him advice or to correct him. To the spiritual master, we cannot give advice and correct him. Actually, this is written to the spiritual master by Bhakti Siddhanta. Srila Prabhupada is just writing Vaishnava. To give advice or to correct him. One can distinguish between the neophyte Vaishnava and advanced Vaishnava by their activities. The advanced Vaishnava is always situated in as a spiritual master, and the neophyte is always considered a disciple. The spiritual master must not be subjected to advice of the disciple, nor should a spiritual master be obliged to take instruction from those who are not his disciples. This is the sum and substance of Srila Rupa Goswami's advice. So here ends our purport. So I think here we are to consciousness, and this is something. Aprakrit Vaishnava Prakrit Drishti Nisheda, para 3. Aprakrit Vaishnava means liberated soul, and Prakrit Drishti means material vision. Seeing Vaishnava from materialist point of view, in our book there are 4 things. Devotee having a body born in low family. There's a full story in Mahabharata of a low-born invited for the Rajsuya sacrifice, and then the bell rang. There's a full story. Body with a bad complexion, Ashtavakar Muni, some other. A deformed body, a disease or infirm body. These are 4 are materialistic point. Such imperfection may seem prominent, but this is what we have read. Finish. Hare Krishna. Now what are your question or comment?
This last paragraph, besides the pure devotee, he took some expression of that. So that only pure devotee, this is only pure devotee is a Vaishnava Prabhu, or this is the any devotee is a Vaishnava?
Sorry?
This says the pure devotee is a Vaishnava Prabhu, or this says the any devotee is a Vaishnava Prabhu?
Well, here exactly Prabhupada is speaking about Uttamadhikari. If you do something wrong with his Uttamadhikari, not with general. In this case, Prabhupada is speaking about himself. No, we should give respect to all devotees. We should not offend anybody, but at least we should not find fault with the senior devotees. There are a couple more stories in this book. One I told you one story, if you remember. This Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was telling to the Brahman that Brahma, the son of Brahma left at Brahma, son of Marichi, and they become the demons. So we say senior Vaishnava, we don't recognize, so we should not criticize. Just keep distance. No judgment, no criticism. question or comment? So tomorrow we'll start the verse number 7.
Prabhu, on the same context,
Now we can discuss. Okay. Yes.
on the same context, like,
Where's the other microphone? I don't hear. What can I do?
I'll speak. On same context, what Prabhu was asking, like, I've seen many devotees like criticizing seniors in temples or say temple.
This is in a nectar of devotion. It is written: if you hear that, put your fingers in the ears, or leave that place, or kill yourself.
Yes.
So you cannot kill yourself. So you
that
go
is
away
also
from there.
an offense because they're committing offense.
Hearing is also offense.
Hearing is also.
Don't hear blasphemy of anybody. Somebody saying, please don't say anything in front of me. Whatever you want to do, don't involve me in a Vaishnava. No good.
Let's say two devotees talk about a third devotee, maybe about some characteristic or some other thing. Would that be part of Prajalpa or would that be part of
What?
If say two devotees talking about the third devotee about any characteristic or anything, would that be part
Hare
of
Krishna, my class will come
Prajalpa
here.
or Aparad?
See?
Would that be part of Prajalpa or Aparad?
Prajalapa it is if they are speaking, discussing worldly things. Aparad is if they are discussing about a person. Prajalapa is like that. When we have to read, say discuss Krishna Katha, we say, oh, today this person is actually criticized in a newspaper, this person is in a prison now, this person is having all worldly things talking for hours is Prajalapa. But if we say so and so devotee is so bad, that is Vaishnava. Prajalapa means worldly things. Vaishnava means speaking of a particular person. What is your question? Is there some other question? Anyway, 6 types of warnings in this verse about dealing with at least Vaishnavas at a bodily platform or from their birth. And that is somehow is very difficult really to come to that. Okay, verse 7 tomorrow. Verse 7 is like how do we develop ruchi. This is anartha nivritti. This verse is like anartha nivritti. These are all anartha. The verse 6 is anartha nivritti. Verse 7 is ruchi. Verse 8 is asakti. Okay.